Cool. This should be working. Let's go over here. New private window, paste the chat link, and then move it to another monitor. Yeah, we'll put that right up here. Make this nice and big so I can read it. Change it from top chat to live chat. Need to do the same over here. There's like a freaking bajillion steps to get set up with streaming properly. Okay, live chat. Cool. I think we post a message in the Discord. See if anyone wants to come hang out. Okay. Pull OBS back up. Pull Firefox back up. Such an involved process. Okay, that should be good though. I'm gonna put some music on and then we can get started. Actually, real quick, sound check, just make sure. Last, you're first. You're not last. How does this sound? Yeah, okay, audio sounds good. Cool. All right. Since you're first, do you have any suggestions on what music we listen to? Or I guess what I listen to. I'm afraid that if I play music through the stream, I'll get copyright violations, so I don't really want to do that. But we can run Cider. Could not think of the name of it. And pick some music out. Yeah, probably will get copyright violations. So yeah, we're gonna avoid that. We'll just start with some 90s. Just shuffle this. And then, as always, need to actually connect the headphones. You know you've made it big when you have a number after your AirPods Pro. All right, cool. I think we should be good to get started. All right. Need to make this bigger. Oh, why is it doing this? Okay. And it snaps back. Lord have mercy. Alt right click anywhere in the window. Okay. Yeah, why does it just keep snapping back? Oh my goodness. Is it because it's... No, it just doesn't want to get any bigger. How visible is this? It's still pretty visible, right? I just need to make it bigger. Okay. Yeah, so let's maybe talk really quick about what we're just wanting to build. So I like protocols. I like things on TCP. I feel like it helps demystify how things work. SMTP is built on top of TCP, so I thought it might be fun to build a small SMTP server. Was considering languages to use, and I feel like Gleam could be really fun for this. Gleam's also running on the Erlang virtual machine, the Beam, if you will, which is excellent for reliability, fault tolerance, all sorts of other really great things that a mail server might possibly want. So willing to make a trade-off for like a lower level language like Zig or something that would be more performant, because really how performant do you need a mail server to be? For something a little more reliable. So figured this would be a fun little project, and I figure we'll start there. This diagram is actually really interesting. So there's an SMTP client, SMTP server. So our computer will be the client, and then the server will be what we're building. And there's commands, replies, and mail. So I think what we can end up doing is essentially modeling the session that is this line, the commands that get sent across this line, and then the responses that get sent back from the server. Probably parse. Yeah, we'll definitely have to parse because it's built on top of TCP. So we'll write a parsing layer. Um, Probably refer back to this document and some RFCs as we get going. I did start this. Uh, Actually, let me just share where we're at. So I Gleam new, and then a project called Sheesh. Because Sheesh, SMTP server in Gleam sounds nice. And then this is it. This is all we have. So I installed Glisten, which is a package for TCP listeners in Gleam, and then we're just in Gleam Erlang. And then we're using Gleam Erlang and Glisten to create a session here. And then listening and replying back with the message that's sent at this point. So we'll actually have to do the SMTP stuff at some point in the near future. But for now, we can Gleam run. We get our hello from Sheesh. We can hop back over here. We can netcat localhost and then send a message like bonjour. And it says bonjour back. And if we say yo, it'll say yo back. So that's where we're at currently. Let's also probably pull up the Gleam docs, and I'm going to close like some personal things like Gmails and eBay stuff and other things. And then pull up the Gleam docs. Probably go here. And go ahead and pull up the contents. Okay, yeah, we'll jump through this as I start to forget things and have questions. I've written a little bit of Gleam at this point. Did their tour a while back. I did a first impressions video, wrote a little bit more after that, and haven't touched it since really. So there's a good chance that will have to refer to this a lot. But it'll be a fun learning experience, hopefully for everybody. Okay. I have what the heck is Gleam? It's a great question. I will tell you in just a second, but first let me just turn on Dark Reader so I stop flashbanging people and people don't complain. Okay, yeah, so what is Gleam? That's a really great question. Gleam is this really, really fun, robust new language that is, it's essentially this, a friendly language for building type-safe systems that scale. I almost exclusively write type-safe languages at this point. If you are an AI enthusiast who thinks that programming will disappear, at least the way we know it, I still think type-safe languages will be the future. It provides the compilers provide a lot of information that's both useful to humans and AI systems. But we're doing it all human today. So yeah, it's type-safe systems that scale. The most important thing here is that it runs on the Erlang runtime or the Beam. You can also compile it to JavaScript if you really want to compile it to JavaScript. So one of the nice things about that is there is a framework called Lustre that lets you write single-page applications and server-side rendered pages in Gleam that are, compiled to native JavaScript. So that's an option too. Oh, message retracted. No, you can leave it. There's no wrong questions. Okay. So yeah, that's what Gleam is. So we're gonna build a mail server running on the Beam in Gleam, and that's our plan at least. So let's hop back over here, and I'm gonna just make some files because I like the approach I mentioned here of having a session essentially, and then having commands and responses. And if anything's not readable, let me know. Kakai, hello. More Gleam content. Yeah, I had just mentioned this. I'm not sure when you got in, but I really like the language, but I've just done so little with it after finding the language and doing my first impressions and then building a couple small things with it. So I thought this would be fun, and I've never built an SMTP server before. So yeah, uh, double win, I guess. Okay, so let's touch some files. We're gonna touch source, session, Gleam, source, command, Gleam, and source response. So we can hop into session maybe. You just got here. You're happy for me. That's nice. I'm also happy for me, I think. Okay, so God, it has been so long since I've written Gleam. Types SMTP session, SMTP session, and then we need fields, state, session state, maybe. We should have a from. Yeah, because this would be the client that it's coming from. Or rather, not the client that it's not necessarily the client that it's coming from. This would be the okay, so essentially every SMTP request is a standalone TCP request. So that session state will model the data that comes across the TCP connection. So I think from is optional. I'm actually very curious now. RFC 5321. Let's go take a look at an RFC. Specifically, SMTP terminology, transport history, host, domain names, mail agents, buffer, commands and replies. We'll probably need to refer to this. Honestly, 94 pages for an RFC is not too bad. Basic structure. Yeah, let's start here maybe. Let's take a look at what yep. So this is what was in the Wikipedia page, this model. When an SMTP client has to transmit, it establishes a two-way transmission channel to an SMTP server. The responsibility of an SMTP client is to transfer mail messages to one or more SMTP servers and or report its failure to do so. Okay, cool. Simple enough. This means by which a mail message is presented to an SMTP client and how that client determines the identifiers, names to be transferred, local matter not addressed in this document. Interesting. Okay, extensions. What else we got? SMTP terminology, mail objects, commands, replies, host, mail agents, senders and receivers. Okay. Session initiation. SMTP session is initiated when a client opens a connection to a server and the server responds with an opening message. This is the hello command, HELO, if I remember correctly. Formally reject a mail session. Okay. I don't think we'll have to worry about that today. Yeah. The client normally sends the eHello command to the server indicating the client's identity. In addition to opening the session, use of eHello indicates that the client is able to process service extensions and requests that the server provide a list of the extensions. Or yeah, I guess eHello, I guess is fine. Older SMTP systems that are unable to support the extension and contemporary clients that do not require service extensions, the mail session being initiated may use hello instead of eHello. Servers must not return the extended hello response for a normal hello command. Okay. All right, so we'll have to do some parsing of the commands that are coming in. Yeah, okay, so this is the from, right? This is what I was curious to see. Okay. I do think this is necessary, but I think for our state it can be an option because it could be omitted from the state. And if we're building up this like SMTP session as we go, we might not have all the fields available up front. So I think we'll just stick with that for now. Um, that's not correct at all. It's list string, and then our data lines will be a list of string as well. Okay. Whoops, wrong thing. Code actions, no code actions available. Love to see it. Do we have Gleam installed? Enabled languages, Gleam, yes. Okay. Interesting. Import Gleam option. Imported type is never used. It's used right here. Huh. Okay. We'll just have some errors for the moment. Session state. So we have that initial greeting. We have, I guess once the greeting comes through and we're ready to accept, we could just say, let's just go with ready. First step in the procedure is the mail from command. So we'll just say mail from. The next one is recipient RCPT2 and our data. Let's comment these. So this will be when we are collecting body lines. This will be after receipt 2. And the receipt 2 can be sent multiple times, right? A list of source routes in the forward path. Okay, so this can be looped. Mail from will be after mail from. And this will be after hello or hello. Gleam puts the comments above the line, but you can add dot comments to the variants with ///. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put them above. That doesn't bother me one bit. I just wasn't expecting that, so had to reformat. I'm guessing. Okay, the imported type is never used. Is that because the thing that's using it is never used? I would assume that's the case, but okay. How do we write tests? I don't see anything for tests. 3 warning emojis. You can add a test directory. The assert at the bottom. Let assert. I was really looking for like a full test runner. I'm pretty sure I've done this in the past, right? Gleam test. Oh, we have a test from generating the project. Okay, cool. Assert greeting. Okay, so they're just functions that end in test. Okay. And then multi-line strings, multi-line strings. Tests are just functions ending in test. They need to be public. Okay, simple enough. Does Gleam support multi-line strings? Form feed. Oh wow. People are popping in. Gleam. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of Gleam today. I'm trying to remember how to write this language. Okay, just regular quotes for double or multi-line strings. Okay, simple. Oh, literally, there's an example right here. I should read. W Lock. Hey, great to see you, man. Glad that you are popping in. We'll have some fun with some random stuff today. So specifically, I'm going to create a function that is going to send hello test, so something like that, and then we'll do a something like this will be the string that we'll send in. You shared the live in the Discord. Maybe the core team would come visit. Oh, the pressure's on. Uh, hopefully, I don't embarrass myself too much in front of the live team. I like this language a lot from what I've done with it, but I've not done enough with it. Okay, so we'll take this string and essentially I just want to pipe it into a function, and I want to pipe this into a like parse. Parse doesn't exist yet. We'll have to figure out where we're going to import that from, but this will be in command maybe. I didn't use your Discord link. I just saw in my subscription a Gleam Live. No problem. They love to help, and so do we. Yeah, that's great. The community around Gleam seems very, very friendly, which is always nice. Okay, so interesting. So Glisten's going to give us raw TCP packets. So we're going to need to buffer those as they come in. To be sure, you have updated the latest version of Gleam. Since 1.16, the LSP got really better. To be honest, I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah, 1.16. We're there. Let's see. Let's start with hop into Sheesh. Okay, so we essentially need like a byte buffer. So Bytes, bytes, bytes. This might actually just be in the standard library then. Byte size, byte array, bytes tree. We probably want a bytes tree, right? Efficiently building binary content to be written to a file or socket. Internally is represented as a tree, so to append and prepend to the bytes tree is a constant time operation that allocates a new node in the tree without copying any of the content. Okay. Having a funny / cute name is actually pretty common with Gleam libraries. Yeah, I'm here for it. I've noticed a lot of them start with GL, which is good as well because they share the doc site with hex docs, right? Or hex, the hex package manager. Okay. I got to turn cake down. Hard to focus. Okay, so incoming data is going to arrive. What are we looking at? So we have a packet, and that packet is a... Oh, it's a bit array. Okay, cool. So we can work with a bit array. Gleam is theoretically such a cute language, but I always end up wanting to write Rust when I use it. I notice enough similarities that, to be honest, Gleam, when I did my first impressions video with Gleam, I enjoyed writing it, and I had a couple of people be like, wow, this is actually really similar to Rust, and it caused me to re-give Rust another shot. And I've been writing some Rust, some Zig, some Odin lately. Really, to be honest, I'm a little exhausted from lower level languages, so looking to kind of get back to something a little higher. But I definitely see the similarities between Rust and Gleam. Not everything's named with GL, but I must admit I named my index DB opinionated library Glindex. That's a good name. Okay, cool. So let's think through this. So we have our packets. So we have our bit array. We have our bytes tree. I think we need to import. So import. What would be the import? I'm going to assume it's Gleam something. Bit. Yeah, Gleam bit array. Nice and easy. So we essentially have a message. I think I'm going to create a function down here. Handle message. Handle. Maybe, what is this? So function. What do you get? User message. Option selector user message. Okay, so we'll change this to something like handle maybe message. And it's an option. Selector? Where did that come from? Selector. Process Gleam, selector, payload. Okay, simple enough. So process Gleam. Process selector. Does that just exist as is? And man, I have already forgotten. User message. What is user message? So we have an on init, it takes a user message, option selector user message. So user message is just a variable name in this case, right? Okay. So would this just be option selector then? Process selector? Similarity comes from basically all new languages and a bunch of old languages like C# adopted pattern matching and record destructuring. Maybe, but pattern matching was already in Elixir and Erlang. Process comes from the Gleam Erlang library. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Case, not match. Trying to remember the lingo. So if we have packet, glisten. No, we're pulling in packet. Okay. So if we have a packet with a message, you said let assert, looks like assertions. Okay. Let's look at the bit array. That's. Oh, I wish this was a link. That would be so nice if this was clickable. Okay. Bit array. Gleam standard library is really about things agnostic from the platform. So it's not here where you found the pre-made stuff working where JS promises and Erlang OTP stuff. It's not here where you found pre-made stuff for working like with JS promise or Erlang OTP stuff. Yeah, I noticed that the platform specific pieces are, this is what I want. The platform specific pieces are in their own sections of Gleam, essentially, not necessarily part of the standard library. The standard library itself is platform agnostic. Rust inherited pattern matching from OCaml, which was the first Rust backend. Was it really? OCaml first? Wild. I did not know that. 38,000 lines of OCaml code. Okay, which is probably which then popularized it. Pattern matching. Yeah, I mean, am I crazy? Scala has pattern matching, right? It's had it for a long time. Actually, I don't know if it's had pattern matching for a long time. It's had matching, but I don't know if it's been pattern matching. Scala 2. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's had it since 20... I was writing Scala 2 in 2013. Not saying this was in that version of Scala 2, but Scala 3 came out in what, 2016, 2017? When did this come out? Which I guess pattern matching has been a thing for a long time. Yeah, I guess I don't know why I got hung up on the comment that the first OCaml compiler, or the first Rust compiler, was written in OCaml in 2006, which is probably why pattern matching became so prevalent in Rust. Hopefully, sorry if you hear the sirens. We've got windows open, and we live very close to a fire station. Yeah. All right. Anyways, sorry, getting sidetracked, as I have been known to do many, many times now. Prolog. That is a language I have not ever taken a look at. So we should be able to destructure the text from the bit array to string. And we need to pass in the bits. Let's change this. This is... I don't know if shadowing is okay. I would assume it's okay, but I'd rather not shadow if we can avoid it. So we have our bits, and then what are the other cases for this? Message option, process selector. I'm sorry, what are the other options? Oh, user, interesting. Okay, so these are any messages received from the selector returned from on init. So we need to handle both of these cases. So we handle the packet and the user. So we have user message. I don't have a clue what we want to do in that case. So for now, let's just, do we have to do? We do have to do. Let's to do it. Nice. User's not in scope, so we can come up here and add user. We're missing an arity here. Selector. There's a payload. Whoops. I'm actually really confused. The Gleam LSP is your friend. I think I have the Gleam LSP installed. Maybe I don't. Control F, show me Gleam. No Gleam. Gleam. No Gleam. Bummer. Gleam is in the Gleam LSP. Or the Gleam LSP is in Gleam, maybe? I guess I'm confused. I think my Vim setup has some support for it. Like I've got LSP info. Like the Gleam LSP appears to be enabled right here. I don't know. To be completely honest, I've been using Zed a lot lately, and I have no idea why I don't want to use Zed on stream. Maybe maybe I feel like it's proof that I can't handle Vim the way that I should be handling Vim. Okay. User message. So this would be what, a bit array then? Maybe. Expected type option process selector bit array. Okay, we have a type mismatch. I would love to see more. Found glisten message A. Oh, it takes in a payload and you think it's generic. Sorry, is that ... Can you just... No, okay. I was like, there's no way that just works. Okay, that's fine. I need to actually look at the docs and make sure that I'm understanding this. If you were using code action on message, the LSP would generate a branch, option sum, and option none. Oh, it's an underline. I see. Okay. Should I just use glisten message here then? If we are just taking in the message, let's try this. Okay. What do we want to do with the text? So the text is a string that I can parse. So let's just do IO println text. And then we need to wire this up. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't really like all these plugins and extra clutter. I just compile and follow errors, but that's just me. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for you for doing that. I can't. I have tried before. I've tried going as primitive as I can with like even going as far as to use like Notepad++ or something, and I really struggle with that. Having the LSP go to definition, syntax highlighting with tree setter, that type of stuff, just it helps me tremendously. For me, it's just it helps provide context that I don't have to keep in my head, and I can just see at a glance or go to very quickly. So that's been super helpful for me. My hunch, however, is you are better at working with that context than I am, and you are probably better at the languages you write then I am better at the languages I write for that reason. So if you were given like a piece of paper and asked to write a program that did something, I guarantee you would be better at doing that than I would because you just don't depend on the tools like I do. And I think there's nothing wrong with either personally. I think both are very, very fine ways to approach development. Okay, so we have our function here. So what I want to do is essentially call this, right? So we can just call handle maybe message. We can pass in the message. So we don't need this, but we do want to get something back, right? So handle maybe message. For now, we'll just have it return the message. Oops, yeah, let's do our let. And then we'll come over here and change this to message. And then we'll just plug this in and make sure things are working. So we hit this branch. And then what we need to do is return from bit array. So we can just return the bit array in this case. So just return bits. Okay. Oh yeah, our tests are invalid. You know what? Let's just remove that for now. So this would be test, sheesh test. Yeah, that's fine. We'll get to parsing later. One step at a time. Hint, I think its type is bit array. Okay. Safely remove it, safely remove it. Yeah, that's fine. All right, just really quick, netcat, make sure nothing's busted. Hello. We get our hello back. We see our hello over here in the logs. Excellent, excellent. Okay, cool. This feels not as impactful as I feel like we should be at this point, but that's all right. So we still have our glisten pieces. I think we'll still continue to let this do its thing. But now that we're in this part, we can actually start to process things. Can we get... Okay, this is a glisten question, I suppose, but can we get multiple... When does this function run? Does this run on every TCP packet? Does this run... Like, do I need to manage the state outside of this? Okay, Gleam doesn't really need any plugin. If you're just into your LSP and you make your editor run in the bugger, the Gleam LSP command, but when I was doing some Zig, I do agree doing stuff then running build was better. I have a difficulty with visual noise. I just have docs on another workspace and I switch between them as needed. It's a language problem for me. We used to only need a notepad or a piece of paper. To be honest, I don't care about LSP or not. I just want a nice formatter that auto formats for me space and new line when I save. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're new to my channel and content, I don't like title myself much, but I will title myself and say that I'm a polyglot developer. So I bounce between languages a lot, and those tools make it very, very easy. Well, I shouldn't say very, very easy. The tools make it reasonable for me to bounce between languages because of the assistance that they provide. Okay, so TCP is going to deliver bytes in arbitrary chunks. Single SMTP line might arrive as 2 packets, so we have to carry a buffer. Is that true? Let's just see how this behaves. Yeah. Run this. We'll hop back over here, and then we need like a really big payload that we can send over. So it might be something like elo client.example.com. Did that crash? Something like data from the client, and then subject, hello. So the server would respond, that would be okay. We'd say that we have more data. Sure, subject, hello. body text. Wait, no, the client would then send another carriage return. Oops, that's invalid, but, and then we'd send something like body text here. And then the client would finally say something like quit. All right, how does this come through? What's going on here? So this function runs on every single oh, it's rendering the blank. No, why is there an extra space here? Brad, polyglot developer, king of the Andals, and of the first man, breaker of chains, mother of dragons. I'm still amazed you can do SMTP with only netcat. Thank you, W Lock. I appreciate the sentiment. Also, glad to see you're still here. I'm still amazed you can do SMTP with only netcat. Yeah, I mean, so it's just TCP, right? Like SMTP is built on top of TCP, and as long as we're not doing anything with like SSL or TLS, which I don't plan to at least today, you can just pipe in things. And for what it's worth, like nothing about our server is SMTP at this point. This message that we sent is like technically this is kind of valid. But nothing about our server is SMTP. It's just TCP at this point. I just randomly stumbled upon the channel too. Wanted to learn Zig too, but the compiler gets in the way too often. Same experience I had with Rust. We'll probably try again later. I don't know if that will ever change. I think the languages are very low level. They're very focused on giving you as much safety and correctness as they can with letting you get super low and do really powerful things. And the way that they get that correctness and the way that they get that safety is from working closely with the compiler. So if you find that the compiler gets in the way too often, I don't know if it will get much better ever, unfortunately. But I think that's part of the trade-off we make when we choose languages like Zig and Rust. I'll try not to spend the entire time talking about Zig. That's much easier for me to do, though. Okay, so we actually have to send status codes back too, don't we? Because there's like what, 250? Okay. 550s, 553s. Oh, this is going to be bigger than I expected. How do we send? Okay, I need to see responses because we have, okay, SMTP replies, we have reply codes. SMTP consists of a 3-digit number followed by some text. Okay, cool. That's what I was wondering. I was like, there's no header or anything, right? Like there's no way that we could, like this is an HTTP, so we can't do that. So it's just 3-digit number followed by some text unless specified otherwise. Okay, I have to go eat. Good luck with the mail server. Personally, I use Gleam a lot, but I haven't touched Glisten or anything related to the Beam processor OTPs. I'm very curious what you use, if not the Beam process and OTPs pieces. Are you writing Glisten, or sorry, are you writing Gleam and compiling to JavaScript? And wonder what the sentiment on Mojo is. Seems promising if you read the website, but the whole Pixie thing is weird, and the standard library seems a little shallow. I actually know very little about Mojo. This sounds nice, though. Write fast code for diverse hardware from CPUs to GPUs without vendor lock-in in a language that's both friendly and memory safe. And I should probably make this legible for you all. Sounds neat. This looks cute. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Show me some code. Ugh, this looks kind of gross. Okay, cool. So adding vectors together using tile tensors. Looks like a type here. Another type of together type, element size, result type maybe, indicating it's mutable with those subtypes. Yeah, to be completely honest, I don't really know what's going on here. Python syntax is rough too, but it's meant to be compatible with existing Python code. That's ambitious. Oh yeah, literally right here. That's ambitious, but neat. Being able to essentially promote from the Python runtime to a different runtime that is better sounds really appealing, especially in this day and age. Ooh, 1.0.0 B1 beta 1. That seems promising. Compile time metaprogramming. Love to see it. Love this keyword. What's the Pixie stuff? What's that? PIXI. Okay. Package management tool for developers of all backgrounds. Kind of makes me think about Mies. Looks like it's Python specific, maybe. No, it's not Python specific. Yeah, interesting. Just seems like an alternative to Mies. Pixie's a package manager for Python, I think, so it all runs in a Pixie shell, not directly on the command line. That's interesting. No, I'm using Gleam with both Erlang for backend and JS for front end. Lustre, nice. But I do web stuff, which needs a web server, which I use Mist for, which makes my life as simple as if I were on Node. Mist is built on Glisten, for what it's worth. I've done a little bit with Mist and Lustre as well, but yeah, Mist is built on top of Glisten, so technically you are using Glisten, but you might not be using it directly. At least it is not routing, but we have pattern matching, so who cares? Yeah, single route's sufficient. Pixie's a package manager for Python. Yeah, we just mentioned that one. Python type annotations got me interested, but then it just led me into other languages. Yeah, I think same. So when I was looking at picking up the Beam again, I wrote Elixir for. I was at a company that was an Elixir backend, Elixir and Ruby backend, and I was mostly doing front end stuff for them. But I was also doing some Elixir work as well. And that was 3 years at a company doing that. So I didn't much care for Elixir at the time, but I grew to respect the Beam a lot. And when I was looking at Gleam, I had to ask myself if I should just use Elixir instead. And I looked at Elixir's type specs and the Elixir type specs. Pull these up so you have some context in case you don't know what these look like. But yeah, they have these type specs that I just do not care for. And additionally, it's not fully typed. These are optional, so it's a dynamically typed language, and such type specs are never used by the compiler to optimize or modify code. They're useful for these reasons, and mainly dialyzer, so you can analyze code with type specs and find inconsistencies and possible bugs. But both the syntax of this and also the fact that it's not like tightly embedded into the compiler, I want statically typed languages with strict compilers. I would rather fight a compiler during 9 to 5 than have production blow up at 2 a.m. because someone double indexed into a map of maps without checking that the first index actually returned a non-null value, which is an actual thing that I have been paged for before, in Ruby for that matter. But yeah, what I wanted to say is I'm not using Actor and not spawning manually new Erlang processes. I still got my feet out of the water. Yeah, I get that. I totally understand. Once you start getting into the OTP stuff and set up actors and oh my gosh, what is the other agents? OTP agent. I'm not losing my mind, I swear. Maybe they're not called agents. Maybe I am losing my mind. Phoenix, Elixir. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Live view security. It's not a Phoenix thing. It is an Elixir thing. Also, my music has stopped. Docs, maybe? Shoot, I don't know. There's something in here that seems really appealing on the... Yeah, agent. So they're essentially like multi-elixir process or Erlang process states that are shareable, which seems really cool. Gen server is just so fantastic. And then processes, tasks, supervisors, actors, all of that fun stuff. All right. You all have sidetracked me something fierce, but that is okay. That happens. And to be completely honest, I would rather hang out and talk about these type of things with you all than make a ton of progress on this project. So, but I will try to make some progress on it. Okay, so we're handling maybe a message. We're addressing that completely. I still don't know where my extra new lines are coming from, but I don't necessarily know if that's an issue at this point. So let's see. So we do need to carry a buffer in my session state and then accumulate it until I have a complete terminated line. So this is interesting. An interesting problem is if multiple people are sending these connections over, we can't just have a single shared buffer, right? I guess for now we could, and then just address that problem when we get to it. You call IO print line after each message. Okay, yeah, I bet you're right. I bet if we just change this to an IO print, that would actually fix the issue. Fire this back up. Elo should terminate, right? Okay, good. Oh. Oh, I didn't run the... Oh my goodness. Elo client.example.com. Okay, that came through. It doesn't really matter. We'll just say hello. Do we have spaces? No. Okay, yeah, cool. Good call. The line breaks being sent over here were being replicated over here as well. Yeah, so a message would include the carriage return line feed usually, to which you just add another line. Yep, that totally makes sense. Thank you for that. Okay. One catch to think about. So a single packet is going to be individual lines, but it could be multiple lines. Ugh. Coffee really quick. I'll mute so you don't have to hear me drink. Okay. Yeah, mic's still on. Good. Let's hop back over to our session. Sorry, I'm trying to like wrap my head around how we want to approach this, since we need to take in essentially a buffer, and we want to keep adding to that buffer until we have a full message, and then parse that message, which makes sense. And then it starts to get a little complicated when we think about multiple people could be connecting to this TCP server. So we need some indication, like some way to separate those messages, I feel. But I guess for now, we don't really have to worry about that, since it's literally just going to be me trying to send a message from the SMTP server But I do think one thing that would be useful is if we hop back over to the session and then create just a new function to return an SMTP session, since we know we're going to need that. It's going to return an SMTP session with state. It'll be greeting, since we're just starting out. That buffer needs to be added to our session here. And we can just make this a string. Yeah, I think so. That buffer will just be an empty string. From will be option.none by default. 2 will be an empty list by default. And then our data lines will also be an empty list by default. I think that's the correct syntax. Private type used in public interface. Yeah, these need to be public, don't they? Public type. Oh, probably just need to save for it to pick that up. Yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense. Great. So we have this. We haven't really. Let's look at commands. So we don't have anything here for commands. You could use a buffer pool given per connection. Ooh. We will come back to that. Thank you for the suggestion. We have to import strings, don't we? Gleam string. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna just focus on the commands. So the commands are the things that can be sent over the wire, and then we can kind of get into the parsing piece. Trying to break this down to one small piece at a time so it doesn't feel as overwhelming as it currently does. And that's SMTP, not SMPT. What else? What else we got? ELO. These have a domain associated with them, which is going to be a string, capital S, capital S. A hello, which is also a string. A mail from, which is it's a string, right? It's address, I guess is a good term for it. Recipient to RCPT2. This is also going to be a string. I know that we can take in a list, but each individual message will either represent it as a string, and you will send multiple messages, and we'll accumulate those into a list. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Data. I think so. I've looked through this RFC a couple days ago, and there's like, isn't there data line? Am I crazy? Data. Okay, we'll just go with this. Data treats the lines. Is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick. I think we can treat data and data line as the same. Although it's not an address anymore, it would be actually, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, sorry, this is weird. We had an example that I sent over here earlier, but essentially, like, there's data, and then there's like a data line, if that makes sense. So we'll want to handle both. So there's data, which has no fields to it, and we have not data type, we have data line, which will have a line, which is a string. We also have a quick command, and then there's a case that you type in nonsense, so we'll just call this unknown. And you can have text with it, so we'll capture that text too, just for debugging purposes, I guess. Okay, this is actually the part that I'm more excited about. This is really what I wanted to get done today. So now that we have this, I just want to parse this. So I'm just going to take in a string, and we're going to return an SMTP command. And my understanding is that our tests... Oh, write and quit, and it added the to-do for me. That's nice. So I can create a test, and then I can create a command.gleam. Is that right? We'll follow that pattern. Command test gleam. Commands test gleam. Have you used Erlang before? No, I have not. Earlier in my career, I had the opportunity to write some Erlang, and I found it to be very repulsive, to be completely honest. And honestly, I was writing Java and Groovy at the time, and it was just so different. It was so different than anything I was doing, and it was very early in my career, and I was not as willing to try new things and just make a fool out of myself trying a new programming language in front of, I have no idea how many live people we have right now, but my analytics say that we've had 166 viewers at some point. So yeah, used to be way more reserved about that. Is Gleam supposed to be a functional language? Yeah, it is. It is a functional language. I have already forgotten what our tests look like. So we're just going to pull this up over here. We'll hop back over here. So we're going to import Glee unit. I'm going to type this out instead of copying it in hopes that it will make me actually remember how this stuff works. Yep, you have data and functions. That's all you need. Hey, Kakai, question for you. I'm looking at this test that was auto-generated, and it says pubfun main, and it returns nil, and then calls Glee unit main. I don't need that in every test file, right? Like if I create a new test file, that executor should pick up all of my tests for me. Is that correct? I would assume so. Nope to I know I don't need it, or no, I'm wrong. Only in the module test.gleam. It calls the test runner. You just need a function ending in test. Okay, cool. I can do that. I can totally do that. So let's write some tests. So we have a parse elo, ehello test, which will be something like this. And then I would assume I need to import command, source command. Does that work? How do I import my, maybe the LSP will help me. We'll try that. So I've got a string. The string will be something like elo bradseipert.com. We'll go there. We'll pipe this into parse. And then we should be able to pipe that into assert. Is that true? Is assert a keyword? Does Gleam have a for or a while loop, or it's recursion for all? Just recursion, but you should probably check the standard lib before doing that. No loop, just recursion, usually map, fold, scan, etc. Calls the test runner, searches for all the tests in the directory. Okay, cool. Makes sense. Asserts. Pattern can be partial. So assert's a keyword. So I can't pipe into assert like I can a function, right? I would assume no. Which I guess if that's the case, let assert is a keyword. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So in our case, then we can just let bind this to out, maybe, and then assert out is got to go study for my oncology exam. All right, I hope you have a great day. I hope you do as well. You can pipe into echo, but I think that's unique magic. That makes sense. So I want to assert that out is, and I want to do essentially a type assertion. Show me. Yeah, also for the person who asked about loops, there's information right here on recursion. Actually, sorry, this probably isn't very big. Let me make this a little bigger. There's information on recursion, tail calls, list recursion, stuff of that information that might be useful. Custom types. Can I just assert that the type is equal to, what did we call these? SMTP command dot elo? Code action, yeah, not able to import. So how do I import my code? You can assert on the enum fields, yes. Okay, that's what I want to do. Tuples, record pattern matching, record accessors, record updates, nil, results, bit arrays. Probably want this. Oh, would it be... Oh, if I type correctly, that might come out better. Whoops. Oh my goodness, please. Random idea that might be relevant. Let's make sure these are public. Yeah, they both are public. Okay. Sheesh. If my enum is public and on the sheesh module, just got home and opened the streamed again. Do I need to... God, did I make like a silly mistake and forget to put it in the appropriate module? A module is a bunch of definitions that belong together. IO println, all Gleam code is in some module or the other whose name comes from the name of the file it's in. So Gleam IO. Okay, so in theory, can I just come up here and import sheesh slash command? Yeah, okay, cool. No, unknown module. You're about 804 feet above sea. Okay. SMTP command? Unknown. Import sheesh should work. Sheesh elo? Elo is a constructor for an SMTP command variant. Okay, that makes sense to me. I guess the part I'm confused on, so this file here is in command.gleam. This is under source command. So would this not need to be like sheesh.command? Or like, would I need to import sheesh command? Or just import command, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, perfect. And then this would be bradseipert.com, right? We are importing command unknown variable, the name. Show me line diagnostics. Parse is not in scope here, so do we just need to pull in parse as well? And I don't need the Glee unit module. All right, let's run this and see if it actually executes. Sheesh, I did not expect that to be so difficult. Let's run Gleam test. To do expression evaluated, this code has not yet been completed. That makes sense because our parse is entirely a to-do. Yep, okay, cool. So we are calling parse. Sheesh. All right, Cool, man. I am so sorry that we struggled through that. Thank you so much for your help, though. I really do appreciate it. I honestly, though, like to be completely honest, I feel like there could be more information on running tests in. You know what? I'm just in the language tour. Maybe that information is elsewhere. Yes, I would imagine it's in this writing Gleam. Do we have any information on tests? Workflow, test, var test, tests, tests, test runner, latest versions, testing your code. Yep, okay, I just should read the docs. My apologies. Thank you for being the docs that I should read. I appreciate you all tremendously. Format pair function, call the format pair function with the test directory. Where to test? Okay, yeah, I'm so sorry. I should not have. I just for a minute was just assuming that the language tour was like every piece of documentation, and that is not true at all. I should read the docs for writing Gleam, and if other people are interested, I would encourage them to as well. Thank you again for your help. All right, so let's parse. This is the part that I'm excited about. I like writing parsers. It's been fun to do in Zig. It's been fun to do in Rust. I guess I've technically written one in Dart as well. So yeah, let's uppercase. So we want to essentially, when you're writing a parser, if you can, if it makes sense to, you want to normalize your inputs. So in our case, like whether it's lowercase elo or higher elo or hello or mail from or whatever, I'm pretty sure we can just normalize it. So in our case, I want to uppercase all of this. And I think that in our case, simply because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all 9 of these, all 11 of these, 10 of these, however many it is, are 4 characters. So we can also normalize this even farther. Oh, that was weird. I'm not sure what that was. Check out the writing Gleam docs later. Pretty helpful. Helps with conventions. Yeah, I will read through that probably right after this. I don't know. Maybe it's a good use of everyone's time to to read through it with me, but I don't want to force that on people. By the way, you should probably move your code to a sheesh namespace, just a folder. Yeah, okay. I'm open to doing that. So string. We want to essentially take the substring, no substring, slice. Yeah, that works. Take a substring from a given grapheme index and a length. Negative indexes are taken starting from the end of the string. Yep, okay, cool, makes sense. I do need that to get out of the way though. So we'll take in our line, and then we just want 0 to 4. We want the first 4 characters. This is our upper. This needs to return an SMTP command. So I'm just going to go ahead and put unknown here at the bottom, so it will quit complaining. No, SMTP command dot unknown. Can I not just do unknown? Oh, I need to provide data. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. My apologies. Okay, so we normalize this. Now we can use our beautiful matching syntax here, and we can handle elos like this. Hellos will be the same. We'll go ahead and write these two together since they're almost identical. Actually, most of these will really be identical, but we'll write these and we'll actually adjust our test. Or run our test, really. Our test shouldn't need adjusting if we do this right. So string. And then I essentially want to slice the... Oh, hang on. What's a drop start? That actually might be exactly what I want. Drops in graphemes from the start of a string. That is perfect. Yep. So we'll take in the line and we'll drop the first 4. And then same thing here. So this will be string trim. And then string drop start line 4. Actually, we will probably drop start like crazy. And then we need one more pattern. So empty pattern will return unknown, and then just the input, I guess, the line that is inputted in. And we don't need this anymore. So now we should be able to run Gleam test. It didn't fail, which is good, but I'd like to make it more prevalent that it did pass. Okay, cool. So 2 pass, no failures. Huzzah! Let's go to our tests, command tests. Let's add another. So what? We want to yank 6, yank 7 lines. We'll come down here. We'll paste. We'll add another one. And this will be a parse hello test. This will be a hello. And we'll do lowercase on this. Since we're normalizing it, it should be good there. And we can change this from an elo to a hello. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of stuff. Unknown takes a parameter. Yes, you are right. I'm glad we got that. Unknown with a string. Yep. Can anyone tell me what is Gleam? I am new. Yeah, so Gleam is a functional programming language written. It runs on. It's a multi-host functional programming language. So in a way, it's similar to Clojure in that sense. But honestly, I shouldn't assume people know what Clojure is. It can compile to code that runs on the Erlang virtual machine, the Beam, if you will, or it can compile to JavaScript, but it's a high level functional programming language with an intentionally simple syntax. Like the amount of keywords in Gleam, I think, is 18 keywords. Is that right? It's very, very small. But small doesn't mean not powerful. It's, I wish I remembered where I saw that it was 18 keywords. But yeah, small does not mean not powerful. So it's really, really nice. The Beam itself is a fantastic deployment platform created by Lewis or Louis Pilfold. I'm not sure how to pronounce whether it's Louis or Lewis, but my apologies if I get it. One of those is wrong, so my apologies for getting it wrong on one of them. But yeah, somewhere they had like an FAQ, I think maybe, where they were talking about what the language won't be. And that's when they started talking about how small the language was. But I don't know where it's at. I'm not gonna troll through their docs to try to find it right now. What other questions? You might be able to pattern match. SMTP server. SMTP server is a server for sending emails. Simple mail transfer protocol. So Wikipedia page here if you're interested, and then there's an RFC that's linked right here, 5321. If you really want to get in the weeds, there's like 98 pages of how this is supposed to work. But yeah, this is used to send emails. So, and when we have this finished, which I don't know if we'll have it finished today, we've already been live for an hour and a half. But the idea would be that I can just connect to this using Netcat and send an email that will get proxied to relay servers. And then in theory, I could send an email to myself, which would be pretty sweet. Okay, what other questions? You might be able to pattern match even without the slice and drop because you can do the concat syntax to lay out all the chunks in a match. That is smart. I was going to say clever, but clever is sometimes bad, and that doesn't sound bad at all. So what you're saying would be essentially instead of slicing here, we could do like this, and then like domain like this, and then over here we could just do probably still on a string.trim it, but then we could do domain. I think that is a great idea. So what did I do wrong? Command. I also think that should work, but I don't know why it's not. Okay, chat's coming through. Does NVim have anything over normal IDEs? I see everyone using NVim, at least YouTubers, but it seems learning curve of NVim is quite steep, and not sure if it's worth learning. The if you have not used NeoVim and you want to start using NeoVim, your first week will be pretty miserable. After that, you will basically probably. I shouldn't assume that you will follow the exact same path that I did. But after the first week, I was at the point where I was about as proficient with NeoVim as I was a normal IDE. And then the part that has been nice for me afterwards has been modifying things to fit my needs in a way that I could not do with an IDE. So yeah, if that's appealing, I would check it out. I use LazyVim, which is a distro that is really, really nice. So it's this. This looks really, really similar to what you see on my screen because, to be completely honest, the customization that I've done after the fact has been quite minimal. So yeah, LazyVim, it looks nice out of the box. It works really nice out of the box. You have a bunch of really nice plugins. So like I can hit space twice, which I think is the default key binding for this, but it lets you search files. If I hit space SG, I can search with grep. So if I want to find like glisten, I can see everywhere that glisten is used. And one of the nice things about this is like this actually it says search grep, but mine's using rip grep behind the scenes, which is just a faster implementation of grep. So you can get performance with that you wouldn't be able to get out of an IDE most likely. There's other searches. So like if I hit, basically for me, it's like hotkeys to get you there. So if I hit space S, this is the search. And then I've got this little like preview panel here. I need to stop moving my mouse. It tends to go away whenever I do. But you can see that I can search for like LSP symbols. And now I have all of my LSP stuff up here. So if I wanted to jump to address, I can now jump to address. That's maybe not the best example because that's in the same file. But if we were to, actually, workspace symbols doesn't seem to be working. But yeah, you can search for different things. So like searching through diagnostics, which we have a to do, and it tells me that the code's incomplete and it'll crash. And it also says, I think this is a bit array, which I search diagnostics, hop back over here. This one's sheesh 29. So like sheesh 29. Oh, it's telling me that this type that it is inferring is probably a bit array, which to be honest, I think we'll throw this away, so I don't necessarily care. But yeah, you can do some really great stuff like that. You can add jumps, swap to your jumps. So you can, like in our case, these are the areas that I've jumped to recently, so it keeps a log of that. So if I want to quickly go back to something, search for man pages, marks, location lists, all sorts of stuff. Actually, I don't have man installed, so yeah, for example, I have a key map to add a new pipe operator to my code. Yeah, that's nice too. I could see that being useful. Okay, where were we? Yeah, why is this not working? So in theory, we should be able to match on this. So we'd have elo and the domain, and then we should just be able to return the domain, but that does not seem to be working. So let me see if I can find an example. Matches. Functions, flow control, case expressions. It was right there. Variable patterns. Yeah, that looks like what we're doing. So we have our domain, elo, domain, elo, we trim our domain. Let's just hop over here really quick and then just Gleam test and see what we get. So it's empty. So we're asserting out is equal to command elo with my website, but instead it is empty. Why is it empty? Let's drop the string trim just in case. And see what this runs. Okay, same thing. So, oh my goodness. That's because we're matching on the upper, so instead we just change this to line. We remove this. Oh man. 2 passed, 1 failure. The one that failed this time is the hello, which makes sense. So I like this pattern. Let's change to use this pattern all across the board, because this feels way nicer and probably is more idiomatic, which is always nice to see. Please. There we go. And then same thing here. So this will be domain. And this becomes domain. Beautiful parsing. Love to see it. Yeah, the slice was still in there. That was for sure the issue. Thank you for mentioning it too. Pipe off, I guess that's useful. My key is positioned awkwardly on the keyboard, just right above the enter. I also have to press shift in Turkish keyboard. Could change that on my key map as well. Maybe elo without a space. I might be wrong. Yeah, I think the issue was that we were matching on the trimmed version where we just took the first 4. So should be good there. Let's continue our. Let's not continue yet. We just made changes. We had failing tests. They should all pass. They don't pass. Let's save and try again. They still don't pass. There we go. That should take care of it. Oh, except we are. Can we? So instead of uppercasing the entire line. Yeah, I think the issue here is I have a test that is intentionally lowercase hello. So because I don't necessarily know if the spec requires it to be uppercase. Yeah, forget it. We'll make it. We'll require it to be uppercase. Because it does look like that is expected. It would be nice if we didn't have to, but we can always fix that later. There we go. Test should work now. Yep. Nice. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, that was just a small thing. Okay. Mail. Same thing here. But we actually need to do a little bit more. So mail is going to be mail. No, yeah, this is actually, we can, because we chose this new pattern with the concatenation operator, this actually gets even easier here. I thought this one was going to be tricky, but we can just do mail from, and then domain, and then return a mail from. What does the mail from look like? Mail. Initiate a mail transaction in which the mail data is delivered to an SMTP server that may, in turn, deliver it to one or more mailboxes or pass it on to another system, possibly using SMTP. Okay. Mail from reverse path. Excuse me. I wish I had another example. Yeah, okay. This is what I was looking for. So we have our path, we have a reverse path. I think we can just replace these in our reverse path while we're parsing, because I don't think we need those for anything. Like there's no reason we would need them. So let's take that approach. So we're here, we have our mail from. We want to replace both. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. We'll try it, and one of the many Gleam experts here can help me figure out if this is a good idea. But we can essentially replace the uh, domain. It wouldn't be domain, actually. This is an incorrect name. Recipient. Recipient. We can replace this with this. And then we can just pipe that into another replace. There might be like a multi-string replace type thing, but I don't know. This feels kind of cool, right? Feels gleamy at least. No idea. All right. You failed me. You've been so useful this entire time, and you finally failed me on something that doesn't matter. I jest. I really do appreciate your help. Okay, so we have our mail from. Let's do another. We'll do recipient. So this is recipient to same thing here, and then we'll add tests for both of these. Recipient. Actually, again, this is actually the sender. Sender. Yeah, okay. This one's a recipient though. So we have recipient 2, and what we want to do is return a recipient 2, and actually just the same thing. String replace recipient replacing yep with yep. And I already think that instead of doing this, we're just going to change this and create a function because we're using a functional language. So let's do that. Clean recipient, IENT, and this will take in a string. This is recipient. I'll take in a string, and all we want to do is return. So we'll take in recipient, pipe into string replace this with this, pipe into string replace this with this. Nice. So now we have this fun clean recipient. So now we can just say recipient, clean recipient. Oops, wrong set of combinations there. There we go. And this will be same thing, sender pipe into, my goodness, clean recipient. Yeah, something like that. That feels much cleaner. Wait, is it the recipient if it's from them? So no, if it's from, they would be the sender. You can always refactor later when the answer inevitably comes to you in a dream. Happens all the time with me. Way better. Yeah, I do feel like this is way better. Showers are my those are my answers. Unfortunately, my dreams are strange usually, and they don't help me with these type of things. But showers help me with refactoring all the time. All right, we're almost done with our parsing here. So we have data. Data is just going to return a data. And then quit is just going to return a quit. And the only thing we're not capturing right now is data line. I'm not entirely sure what data line is going to look like. So maybe we come back to that at some point in the future. This feels good, though. This is nice and clean. It feels weird that we spent so long writing 30 lines of Gleam, but it is what it is. Let's hop back over to our commands test. And we'll come up here. We'll yank 7 lines, hop back down here, undo that, press the P to paste, and we'll add a new test for what we want. Parse, what did we add next? Mail test. So this one will be mail, and then we have an address. So we'll do like hello@bradcypher.com. Fun fact, mail from is also a function that you can pipe stuff into. Wait, hang on. Are you telling me I don't have to build an SMTP server? Gleam ships with one? Oh, no, you're saying the okay, for a second I thought you were saying that there is a like SMTP server with mail from, but you're saying that I can pipe into the constructor function for this record, if that is the correct terminology. That's interesting. I let's write this test, then we'll refactor to that, even if just to see what it looks like. So this will be a mail from, and then this becomes hello at bradseibert.com. Write this, hop over to this tab, run our tests for test pass. Nope. Oh, oops. It's because it's mail from, like that. And we're not trimming. So let's hop back over to command, come down here. After we replace, we will string.trim. Hop back over to this, and we should pass this time. Good, excellent, excellent. I think you can pipe thing into clean into mail from. Yeah, I let's try it. Seems neat. So we do sender into pipe. Oh wait, sorry. My goodness. So we go up here. Let's just throw this away and sender clean recipient mail from. Do I need, yeah, I probably need to call it. Give it a shot. Holy cow. Do I like that better? To be honest, I think I do. Same thing here then. Sender clean recipient to. Yeah, I like this a lot better. It type mismatch. Oh, I see. And this isn't sender, this is recipient. Nice. Okay. You can format it. To have a pipe in every line. Oh, okay. Yeah, so like where it would be something like this. Oops. This. Let's do that. I think that seems nice. Cool. Yeah, I like this a lot. I mean, the big fan of pipelines just in general. Wrote Closure for a couple years, and being able to say this is my input and I'm transforming it through these series of steps and just kind of reading it linearly is super nice. Okay, cool. Let's write a couple more tests. So we'll go up here, yank 7 lines, hop back down, paste down here. So we did mail. We also need to do parse recipient RCPT test. And this one will be RCPT2. And it'll basically be the same thing here, except it'll be an RCPT2. Add another test. We can just paste again, can't we? Oops. Come back here and do parse data was the next one, data test. Data. And then this should just be data. Command data. One more. Oops. Come back down here. New line. Paste. Parse quit test. Nice. A bunch of tests should pass now. Is SMTP like now you get your own email server and address? Pipe linearly. Is SMTP server like getting your own email and address? No, yes, no, kind of. So SMTP is the transfer protocol to send emails. So there's technically, like, when you send something from like your Gmail, for example, there's technically nothing stopping you at like the protocol level from sending it as a different email address. So you could send it as like my email address, for example. Um, so there's nothing really at that protocol level that prevents you from doing that. I mean, Gmail probably prevents you from doing that. Also, IMAP and POP might prevent you from doing that if we support IMAP and POP, which we might at some point, but for now we're not going to worry about it. Um, I don't know. And I say that with no real exposure to IMAP and POP, except knowing that they open up a brand new can of worms for this. So maybe they don't solve that problem as well. But the point there being that when you send an email, you can send an email as whoever. Similarly to putting a letter in a mailbox or like taking a letter to the post office. Like they don't check your ID before you send a letter. Like there's no one to validate that you are who you say you are. So yeah. So essentially, a server, SMTP server would be if you want to send an email, you can think of it like an outgoing post office where you can write whatever you want from your letter in your letter to whoever you want, and you can pretend you are whoever you want, and then you can send it via SMTP. And SMTP is that post office that you drop that letter off on, and then SMTP helps make sure that that goes to another post office that gets it closer to the person that it's supposed to go to, and then at some way, some point down the road, someone ends up getting that letter because some post office says, "I can't send this to a closer post office. I need to deliver this to the person." Pipe operators and the use keyword are the features of the language that most beginners like to use the most when they are learning. Yeah, use is super interesting. I think it might actually be worth talking about that. Even when not necessary, just because it's fun. I used the Gleam regex package, but it killed me that the parameters were not ordered in any way to facilitate piping. That I could see how that would be very frustrating. Can SMTP servers also receive emails? So SMTP servers can, but they use POP and IMAP as protocols for receiving those emails. I'm pretty sure. If we can support it out of the box with SMTP alone, I'm not sure how that would be done. I guess in theory, like if we had like an SMTP server, like you and I worked at the same company or something, and we had an internal SMTP server that didn't go out to the public internet, in theory, I could send an SMTP message to that to send you an email and you could read it from the same server. Like that seems like something that would be pretty easy to facilitate. But yeah, for more information on retrieving messages, IMAP and POP are widely used. The post office protocol and the internet message access protocol. And then also, I think Microsoft is the one behind ActiveSync, so that's another option. Yeah. Okay, my throat is already starting to get dry. Can SMTP server also receive emails? Just answered that. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Where are we now? So let's hop back into our source. So we're creating, or we don't, yeah, we'll keep that. Let assert okay. We're creating our listener here. Cool. Yeah, it is cool. Technology is cool. Also, the really cool thing about SMTP is that it's built on top of TCP. So if you know TCP, which to be honest, even if you don't know TCP, there are so many TCP libraries and languages that you might like to write. I have no idea what languages you like to write, but there are TCP libraries in basically every language, and some of them even ship with standard libraries that have TCP support. So you could always build a SMTP layer on top of TCP, which is what I'm doing exactly right now. Glisten is a TCP layer, so that we're building SMTP on top of Glisten. So you don't have to do that part by yourself, and yeah, kind of nice. Subscribed. I love to hear it. I'm glad you're here. Okay, this is the part I'm confused on. So on init is a function that takes in a connection to a user message and returns a state option selector user message. State. How does this work? I have assumptions, but assumptions make a fool out of me. And maybe I can find gay, lesbian, and straight education network. That sounds fun, but that is not what I'm looking for. Gleam, glisten. You're right. It is state lowercase. It's not like a type. But the part I'm confused on is like, how long does this persist? Where does this persist? What is the tell me more about its persistence. How can I use that? Can I use that to set up a session that is available for the entirety of that TCP connection? So essentially, what I'm trying to figure out is if I return state here, yeah, it's got to be, right? Like this is an assumption, but if I return state here instead of nil, this state is going to be scoped to the same connection. So this will be state for that connection, and then that state will be available. Okay, yes, I'm going to make that assumption. We can be proven wrong if that is wrong, but I don't think it will be. So instead, what I can do here in this tuple is instead of returning nil, I can set up a session new, lowercase new, my apologies. And then we don't need to return anything else here. I am going to create another function. Loop. And essentially all this is going to do is this part. So let's come up here, go visual, grab all of this, delete it, come down here, paste it in loop. And then loop needs what? The state, which is now going to be an SMTP session. Yeah, feeling it. And then it needs the message and the connection, just like so. And we can come up here and clean this up further and just pass a reference to loop. Cute. Love that. I think the type of state is a session. It is. Okay. Hi, I'm also learning Zig. We're not doing Zig today, but I'm happy to hear that. I think Zig's a really pleasant language that I think a lot of people will enjoy. You can hover it. I can hover it. That's smart. State is usually an analog of the HTTP context. That makes sense. Okay. I guess the flip side here, though. Yeah, no, okay. No, that does make sense. There's no flip side. Zig and Gleam are your favorite? That's great. You and I would probably get along very, very well in person. Well, I don't know. It's my personality is more than my like two languages that I enjoy. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hunch that if you like those languages, we probably would get along in other things. Okay, so we have any reasons why Gleam. Yeah, I talked about this a little at the beginning of the video, so I won't go too in depth on it. But Gleam can run on the Beam, the Bogdan Erlang something machine, advanced machine maybe. I don't remember specifically what it stands for. But the Beam is just like a really fault tolerant system, and I think that an SMTP server doesn't need core performance from like Zig or Rust or C, and instead like just having a really reliable system seems nice. So you also get some really fun stuff with the Beam where like if you were to yeah, so many people don't know what SMTP is. Yeah, 1 second. But if you were to with the Beam, if you want to deploy a new version of something while something is running, you can go ahead and like hot deploy the new version while the old version is running and like drain users from the old version to the new version just in real time as they're like interacting with the system. Something that is like crazy that it felt like took forever for us to get with Kubernetes, and it's just something that the Beam just supports. SMTP is the standard mail transfer protocol. There's a Wikipedia page here if you want to learn more about it. And then if you really want to learn more about it, there's a link to an RFC here that is 98 pages of how SMTP works. The short and sweet is that, sorry for the flashbang, it is this right here. So there's a client and a server. We are building the server, and the client is my computer using Netcat to talk to the server on my computer. So really straightforward, but it's built on top of TCP. So we're using a library called Glisten, which is a Gleam TCP library, and we are building the SMTP layer on top of it. Okay, I'm behind and I have to look at my second chat window. Just this morning, I was looking at basic CRUD web server in Rust, and they use the same state convention to store their context. Yeah, I noticed that that's seems to be pretty common with Rust, and then also Go has quite a few that are sort of like that. And the HTTP Zig by Carl Seguin and Zig, I think, also does that if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, quite a bit. You can build systems that handle thousands of processes running concurrently. Yeah, that's true. And processes in the Beam are really lightweight. They're not like operating system processes. They are really really lightweight. The Beam uses message passing to communicate, so there's benefits on that as well. Um, it has a very what's the scheduler is very something, and I cannot remember the specific word they use for the scheduler, but it's very fair. It very much focuses on giving a fair amount of processing to every individual process. Gleam can also compile to JavaScript. Yep, so it runs in the browser. Kind of shocked at how clumsy Rust web servers HTTP support and ORM are. Yeah, Diesel's interesting on the Rust side. It's not bad, but it's different. Um, and sorry, random message from a friend that confused me. Um, what else? Is this for practice, or do you hope to use this in prod? It's for now. It's for practice. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I would like for it to be complete, and it'll be open source. And if people want to use it in prod, like I don't see any reason they couldn't. Whether I will use it in prod or not, I have no idea. I can't imagine, like, I'm not going to build a business around SMTP servers or anything. So if anything, it would run on my home lab, and we'll see where that goes. Didn't say that. Don't say that. You'll summon the web people. Oh, runs in the browser. Just join the stream. I'm here for Lucy. You and me are both here for Lucy. Our process is like cooperative schedule. Yes, that might be the term. Our processes like green threads. They're closer to green threads than like anything else that I would compare them to. Yeah. I think the key thing there is the Beam uses message passing to communicate across processes and across like functions. So there's this. It's not necessarily like an event loop in JavaScript where like things get scheduled in that sense, but because it uses message passing, there's like a lot of what's the right way to phrase this? My understanding is that there is a lot of points in the program where the process can be free from action, allowing the CPU to work on another process. So what that means in practice is that the Beam is not great for CPU intensive workloads, but if you have a bunch of tasks with a little bit of CPU usage each, it's actually really great for that. And do you know what that is? Web servers and OTP. If you really want to, like, it was built for telecom, so like running phone systems. So phone systems, great for that. Great for web servers. Great for things of that nature. RabbitMQ is built on Erlang, so it's a queuing system that's built on Erlang, and that runs on the Beam. So there's proof that it works in all sorts of different things. Build single page applications without having to deal with the JavaScript ecosystem. Yeah, I'd show off a Lustre project, but it's a bit of a mess at the moment. So maybe not. Mandatory Lustre callout. Yep, that's my Lustre callout too. Beam garbage collection is concurrent, by the way. Also good to know. Also important to know, garbage collection is per process instead of being a sweeping garbage collector that looks at everything that the runtime is managing. So, and in Gleam, processes are tiny, processes are lightweight. So the garbage collector is running per process. And so if you have a process that isn't creating a bunch of garbage, you're not going to ever see the GC run in it, or rarely see the GC run in it. Um, but if you're doing something that is creating a bunch of garbage, that process is going to see the garbage collector more than anything else. I don't know if I can send a link without being banned. You are more than welcome to try to send a link. You will not be banned, but it might not go through. I unfortunately, because it's alive, I have no control over that. Another option, I'll shamelessly self-plug. If you're not in the Discord, you could always join the Code with Cypher Discord, which is in the description, and share your blog there. Okay, so we have our loop. This feels good. We have our session. Yeah, I don't know, man. You say it works, but I do not see a blog anywhere. I just see the word Shazam. Okay, so we have our loop, we have our bytes. What else? So our loop is handling the message. This doesn't need to be public, does it? This can just be a fun. So we're handling maybe a message. I don't really know if we need that. We could clean that up. Yeah, I think we're going to need to change this some. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and toss all of this that we've written so far. And same thing here. So what we're going to do in our loop is we will case off the message, and we will, again, check if packets, if it is a packet, then we'll get the bits. We'll do like a let assert okay text. This is similar to what we were doing previously. Actually, I probably should just copy and paste it because this is very similar. So we'll do the bit array toString with the bits. And then what I really want to do here is call process lines, which does not exist yet, but we're going to send in the state buffer with the text. So we'll concatenate those two together. We'll send in the state, and then we'll send in the glisten connection. And then down here, we will call glisten.continue with our state. So we can remove this, we can remove this, and then we need to actually add our arrow here. And we need to create process lines. Okay, I like this better. Process lines, we have a buffer, which is going to be a string. We have our state, which is SMTP session. And we have our connection. Split. So we want to split because we could have a single packet with multiple carriage return line feeds. So we'll do string split once on the buffer. Or rather, we could have a buffer, even if it's not a single packet. Our buffer could have multiple carriage return line feeds. So we'll split on those. What is this thing? That's the pipe operator. Kakai, stop being so fast. It takes what is used before and uses as the first parameter of the next function. Yep. Hey, you're killing it, Kakai. You might you're my unofficial moderator at this point, answering the questions before I can get to them. All right, so we're splitting once on the buffer. We can check if it's an error. This does return an error, right? No definitions found. Yeah, returns a result. Okay, perfect. So error, and if we do have an error, then we just want to just keep buffering. Buffer that state. And we should be able to just spread the existing state and our buffer into buffer. Okay, then we have our inexhaustive patterns. So, oh, okay, we need the okay. We have a tuple that we need to destructure. Interesting. Which language is this? This is Gleam. It is check the code action for act. Yeah, I will try it. Let's code action, add missing patterns. Boom, beautiful. Is there also a code action? No. How about here? Code action? No. Okay. It doesn't know what this is, I guess, maybe, or it just can't help me with that. But it should be a tuple, and it should be a line, and then everything else. Okay, we'll wrap this in a block because we're going to do a little bit. So we'll get the next state. We'll get the next state. So we'll have to create a function for this. It's going to be, yeah, this will be a bit. But actually, this will be a bit of work, but actually we'll be in a really good spot once we get it finished, I think, because I think this is really the last missing piece. So we'll just go ahead and create an abstraction here called handle line. It's going to take in a line. It's going to take in a session, SMTP session, and then it will do the exact same thing where we spread the state, and then we pass in the buffer, but the buffer is going to be the rest this time. This needs a connection too. Yeah, we'll have to pass in the connection. And then recurse in more complete, oh my God, English. Recurse in case more complete lines are in rest. So in our case, then we'll just call process lines, rest, next state, and then our connection. We'll pass that back through. Okay, cool. Yeah, feeling good about this. Unknown variable because handle lines does not exist. Totally fine. Let's write it. Handle line on a roll, on a roll. Let's go. So we have a string. We have our state, which is an SMTP session. And then we have our connection. It's going to return an SMTP session. So we have a case state. All right, I'm gonna try it. Come up here, code action, add missing patterns. Oh, beautiful. Although I think the only one we actually care about is data. At least at this point. Because everything else will just need to be parsed and modified. Yeah, okay. Well, it was cool, but data is really the only exception here. So we'll just do this, and then if we get to data, we need to handle a data line. So another function, sure. We'll take in the line. Do we need the state? Yeah, why not? We can pass it in and remove it if we don't need it. And I do think we will need the connection one way or the other. You can handle the data case. And to do at the end, I think we can, yeah, we should be good here. So yeah, so session data and then underscore, and then now we want to check case command parse. We're going to call our parse function that we wrote earlier. We're going to pass in the line. And now, boom, yes. Okay, this one we need all of them, so that works out great. Question about this. What's with the colon? Why is there a colon here? Should there be a colon here? Very confused on that. Oops. Okay, I don't know what to deal with this. Like where the colon came from. I don't. I'm not sure what I means, but that's okay. Not a huge deal. I'm so confused by that. I'm gonna create one more function. Oh, it translated it. Gotcha. And I'm just going to create a function here called con send string because we're going to use this quite a bit and it should just help us. So all we need is the connection. Does that make sense? We pipe in. Yeah, that's fine. Connection and then string. And all this is going to do is do a glisten.send connection and then bytes tree. Nope, not append. Bytes tree from string, and then string, something like that. Yeah, good enough. I guess it's like a keyword arg if it's command elo whose domain is something. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be docs, right? There's got to be docs for this. Record pattern matching. No, I don't see them. It seems fine to remove it too. Yeah, okay. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's just continue and see what happens. Hi, I've never heard of this language before. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people haven't heard of it before. It's really, really pleasant. It's a functional language that is kind of similar to Rust syntactically, but don't let that scare you off. There's no borrow checker. There's no reference counting or unsafe or anything like that. It's a higher level language, but there's definitely some inspiration from Rust. But it's a higher level functional language that can compile to JavaScript or can run on the Beam, the Erlang virtual machine. The Erlang virtual machine alone has a lot of really good selling points for it. And yeah, Kakai's right. The language is small, like Lua. I think it's around 18 keywords that make up the language, and then a fairly robust standard library and productive like Golang. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it's a really nice language. A lot of things I like result types, options, pattern matching, all sorts of fun stuff that I enjoy. But yeah, if I'm biased in saying this, but I would love it if you hang out for a little bit and see more of the language and see if it's something that you would enjoy. All right, let's do a let assert because we need to make sure. I don't necessarily care about the value, I guess, but I want to make sure that glisten send, we just did this, so we'll do con send string, and we want to send our connection, and we want to send a string, which is going to be, so if we get an hello, we want to send 250 okay, carriage return, line feed. And then we can also session SMTP session, spread our state once more, and then set our state to session.ready. Although it uses options in a different way than other languages, more for inputs than outputs. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. Hadn't thought about that. Do we need to support hellos? Probably need to support them all, I guess. But okay, mail from. Oops. So this will be the same, right? We just always need to send acknowledgement back over TCP. So in our case, we'll have con send string. We want to send our con, and then in the case of mail from, same thing. I think it's 250 okay, carriage return line feed. And we can double check that in the either the RFC or oh man. Would have been nice to have found this earlier. Mail from 250. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So we have our con send string. That looks good. And then we need to do another session SMTP. Session. One thing that might not be obvious for someone who mentioned that they're newer to Gleam, the last item in the return path and in the control flow, I guess, is returned. So in our case, like when we hit this branch right here, this stuff, this is returned from the function. So there's no return keyword. I don't think there's a return keyword, or if there is, it's not very common to use it. It's more common to just let it flow. In fact, I'm actually pretty sure there's not a return keyword. Okay, what else is going on? So we have our SMTP session, spread the state. I think we'll just keep this pattern going over and over again. And then the session state will be session mail from, and then from will be option some address. So we need to get our address. Oh yeah, it's ESS. I still don't know what the deal with this colon is. But it seems fine. It's not complaining about that at least, so it's very interesting. There's our mail from. Same situation here. In fact, so much of the same situation that I think I just copy this, come back down here, paste this, format it, and then change this from mail from to recipient to. And then instead of from, our to becomes a list with our address and then the existing to. So we'll spread the existing to in there. Seems good to me. Okay, chat's popping off. No return. Yeah, I think I know what you mean because in Rust the question works for both result and option, but here we want it narrowed to just one. That's, yeah. Lots of modern links. Forbid return to dodge early return problems. Yeah, I write a bunch of TypeScript for work and also just for other things too. Well, I used to write a bunch of TypeScript for work. Now it's mostly Go, but some TypeScript as well. And there's definitely a case for early returns that I do like. Same with Go as well. Yeah. You can also trigger a code action on a function not yet defined just to generate it. Good to know. What is SMTP? SMTP is the standard mail transfer protocol. It's a layer built on top of TCP. It's used to send emails. So if you send an email, you're probably going through an SMTP server, or if you're not going through one directly, you're probably calling an API that goes through an SMTP server like Resend or something like that. But yeah, in theory, once we get this finished, we should be able to send emails from my machine using all code that I've written. Always wanted to host my own SMTP server for privacy, but didn't want to deal with the hassle of security and reputation. Also, was never too comfy with the idea of DMZing part of my internal network. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if like this is something I will. This is a learning opportunity more than anything else, and an opportunity to hang out with some people in the chat, which is super cool. This actually has been a very chatty stream. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Also worth mentioning, if you do want to host an SMTP server yourself, there's this concept of reputation, and your server has to be reputable, or else stuff will go to spam. And essentially, like if you send enough emails without being flagged as spam, like your reputation goes up. And then after a while, your stuff will start landing in the inboxes instead of spam. But if someone marks your stuff as spam, it ends up hurting the reputation of the SMTP server that sent it, and like it's very interesting. Hey Cyper, just tuning in. How's it going? Pretty good actually. It's a holiday here in the U.S., so I'm just kind of enjoying the day and writing some Gleam and just hanging out. Trying to learn some stuff and work with it. How are you? You can emulate an early return with bool guard, letting the use keyword do the rest of the content of what if we didn't. You can emulate an early return with a bool guard, letting the use keyword. Oh, yes. Yeah, I've seen examples of that. I'm really glad you mentioned that. So yeah, you do have that option of essentially an early return using the use keyword, which I guarantee has to be in here. Maybe advanced features, use. Yep. Yeah, so this being able, wait, sorry, not this. This. So essentially, this is neat and arguably one of the cooler things that Gleam does. So just by the nature of it being a functional language and by the nature of like message passing and all sorts of other fun stuff, you're going to have very callbacky focused code. This is hard to follow. Like this is kind of hard to read. I feel it's hard to read, but the exact same thing can be done with the use keyword, and it looks like this. So essentially, use keyword helps you visually flatten the callbacks, so it's more apparent as to the flow of things and just easier to read and follow. So this is the same thing as this in Gleam. I'll leave that up on the page for a second for people who want to read it, and it gives me a time to drink some coffee. This month, Rescript people are having a flame war if they should include early returns. Most people don't want it. I mean, they break control flow, so I see the value of not having them, but I also see the value of having them. And I think for me, I would rather have the option. Yeah, I would rather have the option and then set standards with the people I'm working with to either use it or not use it. Kind of weird. Early returns a pattern to me, not something that should be gatekept by the compiler. Yeah, actually, that's a really good way to say exactly how I feel about it. I think Elixir has something similar. Elixir has something similar to use, maybe, or early returns. If you don't care about sending emails, only receiving, self-hosting is great. Yeah, I think the flip side to that is we're only building SMTP at this point. We're not building POP or IMAP. If I really enjoy this project, we might add that in at some point, but for now, just SMTP. Oh, okay, similar to use in Elixir. Gotcha. Okay, let's make some more progress. Let assert, okay, same thing as before. I think my neighbor is doing yard work, which means I too might have to do yard work at some point. Glisten. Sorry, we don't actually want to glisten. We want to send con string, con send string. We want our connection, and then what we want to send for this one is different. This is the 354. So this is 354 something. Let's find out. Yeah, this. I'll just copy this. How are you going to handle encryption? I'm not going to handle encryption. We're not going to worry about it right now. I will cross that bridge when we come to it, but we can get something working and learn a lot before we even have to worry about encryption. I like your response to that. It's good to see that modern languages have easier to read, write, try catch statements almost built in. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, like languages have changed a lot, and as much as I love some of the older languages that I have written, especially because they feel nostalgic, I do think that modern languages should probably try to innovate in some interesting ways. All right, so con send string, we're sending in connection, carriage return line feed, and then an actual carriage return line feed. Feels good. And then we need to return session, SMTP session, spread the state, and then set the state to session dot data, since that was the most recent one that we processed. Don't think we need to handle this one. I don't think we need to handle unknowns. So we can come down here, and now we need a catch all. So we'll just do let assert. No need for that. Well, no, we do need that actually. Let assert, because we need to prove that this did get written to the socket. Con send string. We will send the con, and then the other one is a 500, which is unknown command. Carriage return line feed. Okay. And then we can just return our existing state. We don't have quit yet, so let's wire up quit, and we should be pretty close. So let assert. And just to clarify, pretty close with our parsing. We actually have like no sending done yet. Oh my god, I keep doing this. We wrote a function for this. Con send string, con, and then 221 by, and then return state. That's troubling. I just got a notification that my computer appears to be connected to a network, but does not appear to have connection to the internet. Also, my music has been stopped for a very long time. What are we going to listen to? What are we going to listen to? Let's do this. Yeah, I definitely am online. I mean, the stream's going through. It's worth mentioning that I have two computers. I've got a computer that is hardwired to the internet, that is my recording device, and then I've got my laptop that was what we're coding on so far. So the coding device is the one that said it no longer has a connection to the internet, but the desktop that is doing the video processing and streaming seems to be fine. And if we're lucky, we might not need a connection to the internet anyways. So, all right, let's try this. This is unused, so let's just ignore it for now. Okay. Code action, generate function, boom, go to definition, beautiful. All right, what is handle data line gonna look like? It should actually be pretty straightforward. I think let's just take a look at what these look like. And the dot, that's important. Okay, case line. If it's a dot, it is the end of the message. We're just going to do it again. Con send string, send our con, and then the string that we want to send is 250. Okay, queued, right? Ooh. We'll come back to that. Okay, and then here we can just return session, SMTP session, state session ready. Data lines, we can just clear out that state. Actually, it's not clearing out the state. We're still using the old state, but we're clearing out some of the fields. So we're setting it back to ready and then saying that we have no data lines. We're not actually queuing this. And then if it's not a dot, then how do we want to handle this? Then we just want to accumulate what we have. SMTP session, state, data, lines, add our new line, spread the existing lines. Cool. Probably should do the let assert okay to make sure this actually gets written. Wow, okay. Stream's all right. LSP code actions are lifesaver. They even handle generating JSON decoders and coders sometimes. That's cool. Still doing old school Erlang. That's hardcore. Feel like I'm not smart enough for Gleam. That's funny. I feel like I'm not smart enough for Erlang. But you have written Gleam. Good. They get better with every release. Oh, I wrote a bit of Erlang. It has a funny syntax. Sure does. Probably the only one at about 400,000 lines in production. Sheesh. Have a comma at the end of lines. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. And a dot at the end of functions. Hashing the Erlang out. I think this is pretty good. Are we missing anything? I'm going to go with no and say I don't think we're missing anything. I'm also going to go with no lawn work today. I will just, it's raining like crazy every single day here, and I think there's a window to mow today, but I'm just not going to do it. No, okay is not correct. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, let's run it. Oh, rip. Sheesh 45. It's running. All right. Netcat me up, my boy. So the server. Okay. So actually, I think oddly enough, this example will crash. No, it did not crash. Okay. All right, what am I doing wrong? Let's start with bit array to string bits. We process it. Let's just io.print received message text. Do a little bit of debugging. All right. Big netcat. elo com.bradseifert.com. Receive message. Yeah, we're good there. Continue, actually, to send another message. Ooh, can't send another message because we haven't responded. Why have we not responded? Catching up on the chat. Sounds like a lot, but it's not. Syntax looks like a mix of Erlang, Rust, and JS. Is okay correct? No, it's not. Do you also program for a living? Are you asking me? Because if so, yes. Yes, I do. At least for the time being. I am also, I feel like I'm midlife crisising super hard. And I think that's been exacerbated by the changes in the software development landscape over the past year. And I don't know. We'll see how much longer I stick with it. I would love to. I love building stuff and crafting. But to be completely honest, I've just been, yeah, super, super exhausted. Some of the stuff at work has been actually really fun, and it's been like revitalizing to work on some of that stuff. But I think just even like if we put work aside, just my general like drive has been lower than ever, which makes me sad. I'm not sure if part of it's age and part of it's the landscape. Like it could be a bunch of different things. But building things like this really helps. I feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm trying something new. I get to talk to like-minded people who actually like this language and like what I'm building and have questions and like to learn, and that gets me super jazzed. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of where I'm at as a person. Not that anyone asked all of that, but I'm an open book, so I'll spill that stuff out. You're a digital artist and a software developer, so not a good time right now. Still have a lot of fun with both, though. Yeah, I get that. Man, really sorry that you're going through that. That seems like two of the worst professions to try to have right now. I don't know. I feel like software engineering is like I worry for juniors more than anyone else, and I don't think that junior dev roles are going to go away um, long term, but I think there are a lot of people who look at the output they get from a junior and see it as an investment, and then they look at coding agents and say, I could get more quicker without worrying about the future and them potentially leaving or anything like that. But I think that's a very narrow minded perspective. And I don't think it's a very good perspective to have, not just for the economy and for people and things of that nature, but even like, even if you look at it selfishly, I think it is a bad perspective to have. And I think a better perspective that would even be more selfish would be that I should hire more juniors and grow these people um, for a multitude of reasons. And it's less selfish at the same time. With less juniors, we'll have less seniors. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to retire at some point. So, like, and I guarantee every other person who's been doing this for, I've been doing it for what? It's 2026, so 16 years now. Um, I guarantee everyone else is going to be the exact same way at some point. So, uh, run out of software, folks. Someone has to maintain the COBOL. Okay, let's actually think through this. Why am I failing? What is going on? So we receive a message we call process lines. We take that text, we add it to the buffer. What's going on in process lines? We split once. No complete line. Is it because I'm not actually sending carriage return line feed? Let's try this. Netcat localhost. Elo www.bradseipert.com. Carriage return line feed. We should respond, right? We received a message, we have a carriage return line feed. We need to respond and say that we've acknowledged that they've sent this to us, right? So handle process lines. So we should be sending a 250 OK back. All right, let's litter this with some io.println print non-data line. Let's just start there. Do we get to that point? Oops. No, we don't even get to that point. Your mom used to have a typewriter where you would literally turn the wheel and slide the thing to do line feed and carriage return. It's interesting that those have carried over and we still have carriage return and line feed. Like so much is built on them, I guess, at this point that it would be so hard to just remove them. Kind of interesting. Okay, so we're not getting to non-data lines, so I don't think we're getting to handle line then at all. So go to references. Let's start here. So io.print buff, and then we'll print the buffer. Gleam run. Elo, bradseipert.com. Let's just send that as is. Okay, so we have our buff. More's coming through. That's good. That's good. Test, test, test. Great. Now you feel old. You learned to type on one of those. I have never touched a typewriter. I think that is a truthful statement. All right, what's the move? Why? So we're holding up the buffer. This is accumulating. Yeah, that's not, I'm not sure why I'm even trying that. Okay. Process lines error. It's one thing I don't know how to do is debug anything that runs on the beam. Like with an actual debugger, not just littering print lines over places. So, okay, run this, netcat, hit it again, elo www.bradcypher.com. Gucci? Process lines error. Okay, we are running into an error. Okay. Why? Why are we running into an error? How does this function behave? Split once, string split once to the standard library. That's Mojo. I don't really care about that right now. I don't care about Pixie. Don't care about LazyVim. Close glisten. Split once. Splits a string a single time on the given substring. Returns an error if the substring is not present. So we do not have a carriage return line feed. What if I send one? Process lines error again. Interesting. Personally, I've been working in cyber for the past 5 years. I'm already hitting the midlife crisis at 31. The deeper I go, the less I'm expected to do stuff I like. Code/hack. It's boring. Yeah, I similar, very similar. I'm 30, 2026. I'm 33, and feel the same way. Yeah, very very similar. I feel, I don't know, man. It's hard. I like typing. That sounds weird. I like getting into the weeds of the syntax like this. Um, and I really like every part about software development. But I feel like the current trend in the industry is to take those people who have those skills and like the architectural skills, and I've worked as an architect before as well, so I have some of those skills, and just kind of pull them farther away and have them micromanage agents. And I just don't know. Like, I don't know. It's different. Not saying it's bad, but it's not as enjoyable for me as, what I've been doing in the past. And it's hard too because like if the agents do a good job, they're way more efficient. So I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't know, maybe if money wasn't always the main driving factor for most things, then things would be different. People could do the things they loved. Yeah. I'm They are. Yeah, I'm with you. You're thinking about diving into graphics programming in your free time now. Watch too much Jonathan Blow. Um, Try it out. See if you like it. I have done very little graphics programming. I've done some game stuff. NC localhost 3000. Dang, we crashed the supervisor this time. Okay, non-data line. Cool. So that actually worked, but we did crash. Yeah, it exploded, but cool. You notice the process is still running. It didn't explode. The supervisor crashed, but the beam restarted it, and now we can crash it again by sending the same message again. But really cool, right? Really cool. Again, all things considered, is I mean, we can see why it crashed on the to do, for what it's worth. So something somewhere I have a to do that we need to finish fleshing out. But the point being here that is really cool. The process, despite us running into essentially the equivalent of a panic, the process is still running. It can still handle requests. So if we have an error case, like an edge case that just blows up, that supervisor will restart and can continue handling requests again. You're right. Child process, not supervisor. Supervisor gave a report, so it was the child process. And then you can see the supervisor is the Glisten connection supervisor there. So what time is it? 1:30. I need to eat soon. Yeah. Neat, all things considered. Okay, to do evaluation, exception error, handle line 64. Sheesh, handle line, sheesh 83. Okay, let's head to sheesh 83. Ooh. By the way, supervisor can also crash and be restarted by other supervisors. Yes, they can. I'm trying to write an SMTP server just for learning in Golang. I think it's a great idea. What should be my goal? Your goal should be, here's how I would break it up, and here's how I'm probably going to break mine up because I've been streaming longer than I expected, and I need to eat soon. So parse your messages first. Focus on parsing the incoming messages and building like an actual model from them. Make that be goal one, and then after that, I would say your next goal would be actually sending those messages from the SMTP server. Um, Actually, parsing would probably be goal one. The messages back and forth between the client and server would be goal two, and then that's kind of where we're at today. And then goal three would be actually sending the messages from the SMTP server. Goal four would be probably supporting POP or IMAP. Goal five would be supporting whichever one you chose not to support previously. Yeah, and then at that point you have a pretty functioning, full-fledged SMTP server. Okay. Hey, will you be doing more of these lives? I would like to. They'll probably be on the weekends because I work Monday through Friday. Um, yeah, we definitely have a to do. We can search grep to do. There's several. Actually, there's just one. It's this one right here. Interesting. Why? Oh, because we helloed. Yeah. Hello's not supported for some reason. let's support hello too. Yeah, I plan to do more of these lives. I don't know when exactly. I am employed full time for the time being. Um, so it is a mix of like, I'm also employed, married, have dogs and friends, and unfortunately other hobbies that have been super addicting lately. Like I've been playing a card game called Riftbound, which I have immersed myself into way too much. But yeah, where am I going with this? I would love to finish this out, and I would love to finish it all out on live stream. So I plan to do more. We'll see how it goes. It is basically timing, scheduling, and then how tired I am by the time I have free time to do it. Most likely it would be like Saturday, probably starting at like 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States, or Sunday, probably starting at like 10 or 11 Eastern Standard Time in the United States. That being said, you can always catch the VODs. I know it's more fun to participate in the chat, but if you can't make it and you do actually want to follow through with this and learn and all that fun stuff, yeah, you can always catch the VOD. Yeah, same thing. So spread the state becomes session. Why did we not do this? Try again. Maybe don't break the child process this time. 250. Okay, excellent. Why? So I can't use interactive netcat then, or like how? Process lines error. So we run into an error. Same thing here. Okay, so we process lines okay, we get a non-data line, and then we hit process lines error. Just a beginner. Yeah, sorry, I missed your just a beginner comment. I think honestly building an SMTP server is probably a pretty friendly beginner. I would say it's a challenging but friendly beginner's task. Don't build the TCP layer yourself. Leverage the TCP layer. You said you want to use Go. Go has a built-in TCP. Golang TCP standard library. Yeah, in the net package, you can do TCP networking. So I'm using a library called Glisten, which provides TCP networking in Gleam. You just have that built into the standard library for Go. So I would just build on top of that if you wanted to do this project in Go. Thank you for streaming. Cheer. Could be hitting 2 new line types, Windows, Unix. Yeah, of course, happy to stream. Could be hitting 2 new line types. I guess I'm just kind of confused. Oh, we stopped printing the buffer. That would be helpful to print the buffer. We can just line feed. Let's give it a run. So there's our buffer. Process line's okay, non-data line. How? Okay, and then we get into an error. So non-data line and then process line's error. We send this back, so we're sending back an SMTP. So we're sending the string on the connection, and then we're returning back a ready to handle line. Handle line is here. Our issues is here, right? Recursing, because we're recursing, and then we get into an error because there's not. Oh, okay. Looks like NC doesn't send control carriage return line feed properly. Great. Thanks, Netcat. Okay, what are my options then? Test in SMTP server via TCP locally. Telnet. Sure, let's try it. I'm here for it. Telnet, localhost 3000. No telnet. Yay, telnet. I'm sorry, there's no Mac telnet. Oh, here comes the rain. Sir2net. iNet utils. Okay. Yeah, that is much more of what I was expecting. Oh, Riot made a new TCG. I'm not giving my money to that company again. Thank you for the discussion. Best of luck with the rest. Always inspiring to see people program for fun. Yeah. Yeah, Riot did make a new TCG, or I guess technically their first TCG, since Legends of Runeterra is just a CCG maybe. But yeah, gonna take a break right now to work, but looking forward to watching the next stream. Take care and come to the Gleam Discord channels whenever you need help. I will do that. I'm in the Discord. I just I'm the amount of Discord servers I'm in is so many that I have so many muted, and I kind of forget about a lot of them. But I will do that. Thank you. All right, let's try this telnet again. Localhost 3000. Are we running? We're not running. Maybe that's part of the problem. Gleam run. Big telnet. Connected. Escape character is okay. Interesting. Elo. $250. Okay, we're good. Process lines error. So we are hitting that afterwards. So yeah, that is definitely an issue that we'll have to sort out. I am curious if I can continue to send messages here. So if I can say, we got an elo. Next will be mail from hello@bradseibert.com. 250. Okay, that seems good. RCPT recipient to no reply at bradseibert.com. RCPT to no reply at bradseibert.com. Wait, that would be twice, which let's just not. hello@bradseibert.com. Data. Okay, cool. The parsing part seems like it's going well. This is, just gonna say hello. Queued. Excellent, excellent. Quit. Cool. Okay. That stuff is fairly working. Or at least the parsing and responding is fairly working. We do have this process lines error that we keep hitting, and that is probably because we're not defensively coding against this case here, where we're automatically recursing, and then we're getting into a spot where this is erroring because there is no are there options besides split once? No, just split once. I think we just case this. So if string dot because we're replacing the buffer. Yeah, let's try this. String dot ends with rest. If it ends with carriage return line feed, then actually I feel like we could just simplify this by saying case rest R carriage return line feed. And then we can call process lines with rest, next state, and then con. Oh, we can't do an ends with? Code line. It must be a string literal. We can't tell what size the prefix is, so we don't know how to handle this pattern. Interesting. Gleam ends with case match. I was shocked when I knew having a mail from does not mean the mail is actually from the mail unless signed. Yeah, yep, that is completely true. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what they recommend doing. True. False. What's the void type? No. Code diagnostics. Oh, because this will essentially always recurse until we get to a glisten continue. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this should be fine. All right, let's give that a roll. I think we might wrap up here too. So if we Gleam run this, hello from Sheesh, hit up that telnet, hello, bradseipert.com. Okay, everything looks good. Errors? No errors. Good. What else? What is the message? Hello, mail from hello@bradseipert.com. RCPT to no reply @bradseipert.com. Good. Two okays is interesting. I wouldn't expect to see it twice. Why do we see it twice? Oh, because we're recursing there, aren't we? Okay, we can clean this up. What else? We'll keep that one. Keep the receive. That seems good. We don't... Yeah, we can keep the buffer. Sure. Oh, interesting. We get an okay. Instead of split once and recurse, would it be easier to just split and maybe treat the last one differently? Split and treat the last one differently. Instead of split once and recurse, would it be easier to just split and maybe treat the last one differently? Can you elaborate more? I'm sorry, I'm kind of struggling to follow. Mm, this is the issue, right? This should be rest instead of the buffer. Or that would still have a similar issue. You can't match on the last item of a list the same as you can't match. Yeah, that was my thoughts as well. All right, hello. 250. So far, so clean. Mail to no reply at bradcypher.com. 500 unknown command. Why? Why is that an unknown command? How do we want to do this? Okay, so we're going to print the session. So we'll just do IO print, and it'll be the state. And it'll be session.state. Can't concat those, right? So is there like a toString? Oops. Gleam enum toString. Oh, really? Use a use case to manually map all of them? Oof. Fun session state. How do we? Okay, fun session state toString. And then we'll take in a session state, and that'll be of type session state. And it will return a string. Actually, we can just infer that. Invalid argument name. Sure. Session state, state. So case, state, code action, missing patterns, greeting, ready, mail from RCPT2. Data. We'll call that down here. Session state toString. We'll do another print line. We have our buffer. Our buffer should be a string, so we should just be able to do our buffer like so. Yeah, sorry, session.buffer. Do another IO print line. This will be the from. And it'll be session.from. Ooh, same issue there. So we'll need to map that. So I don't know, we could just do let from. Can we do inline cases? Case session.from option. Nice. That's actually pretty clean. Okay, session from. Man, I'm getting tired, which makes me think that I am due for lunch. R2. So we have a list, so we can do session.to. Do like a list.map maybe. How does this work? So we have list.map. Go to definition. We take in the list. We take in a function. Ooh, with function. Oh, we don't actually want to map, do we? I really want to like join. I guarantee there's a string join, right? So if we do string join, perfect. Nice. That's pretty clean. Gotta go, but good luck. Hope to see the next one of these. Yeah, I hope so too. Print line. Data lines. Same thing. Okay, that's our session printing. So let's hop back over here. And then basically every time we get access to we get a message, we get a valid message, let's print our session going into it. So we can just call session print. state. Let's give this a run. Oop, wrong thing. All right, big telnet. Hello. So, okay, greeting. None. So if we send another message, mail to okay, so we default to greeting. Yep, looks good. Buffer from. So if we send another one, rcpt2 test at bradcypher.com 250 ACK. Ooh, the from didn't get added there. Okay. Yeah, it seems we have some bugs. We'll have to debug this. I need a break, so I'm going to call it here. But thank you for coming out. For everyone who did come out, had a great time. Hopefully you did as well. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.